This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Well, he does take some time off, but when he returns at Raw, he comes back with the infamous promo where his coffin gets rolled out, lightning hits it, and he appears to challenge Kane for WrestleMania. And that program literally lasted forever. But I do think in hindsight, it probably gets glossed over in this particular era simply because of Mike Tyson's involvement in the whole Shawn Michaels, Steve Austin thing. Obviously Tyson was mainstream pop culture, et cetera, et cetera. But when it comes to the legacy, what do you think is more important? The trio of Michaels, Austin, and Tyson, or Undertaker, Kane?
Well, at that time, it would probably be, the whole Austin and Tyson, and that was the anointment of Stone Cold Steve Austin, and that took precedent. But at the same time, when you look at attractions and you look at, holy shit, Undertaker Kane was just as important.
Chat me up about the first WrestleMania match. I mean, this thing's been built forever and ever and ever. Is there any concern that, man, these guys haven't really touched each other? I mean, I know they've worked together in Smoky Mountain, and I think they worked together when he was the evil dentist, but this is a different deal. Is there a concern that, hey, we know we've got them hooked, but what if the match is the shits?
I don't think there was that concern. I think that when you looked at it, Glenn was accomplished. Taker obviously was, but having Glenn in there with Undertaker, I think that kind of alleviated any concern. And the story was what the story was. So it was something that had been built, and back in those days, hell, that's not a long time to build and wait for a match. It's, you had the time to actually build to matches like that. It wasn't, an instant gratification society in which we live now.
Let's talk about the match itself. Pete Rose comes out. He's heavily booed. He turns himself even more of a heel, talking about the whole Buckner deal. Kane comes out, tombstones him, gets a huge pop. And then, of course, Pete Rose is stretchered out. It is a famous WrestleMania moment, but the fans are cheering because, well, Pete's the real heel here, but we're supposed to hate Kane too. Help me understand why that made sense. Do you sacrifice sort of the storyline in order to get the cheap pop with the celebrity?
I don't think it's sacrificing any storyline at all. It's Kane coming out and, tombstoning a big celebrity in Pete Rose, and Pete Rose was a huge celebrity, especially at that time. It's just, it's a pop, but I don't think it's, oh my God, he's a heel, so a heel can't do anything to a heel. I don't look at it that way. It was a star moment.
What can you tell me about the match itself? Do you think it delivered? I mean, you've got Undertaker doing the top, the dive over the top and crashing through
Flying
the table.
Cow.
Yeah. Flying cow. Sorry. Multiple tombstones, and a lot of people felt like, it was good, but maybe too long. Maybe didn't live up to the hype. And then afterwards, Bear's going to attack Undertaker. And then Kane sort of gets his heat back. Kane hits Undertaker with a chair and tombstones him on the chair. And I don't know, as a fan, I felt like, well, they did it, but maybe it wasn't exactly what I was hoping for. Were you pleased with it?
No. And when I say no, it was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine, but I don't know that it was like the end all be all. It was also, I think, in everybody's mind, it was the first confrontation. So it's the first one. So you're going to have more. So you're thinking, okay, you don't want to give them everything that you can. I felt that gave them a little bit too much. And again, this is all hindsight being 2020. When you look at it, you go, maybe we gave them too much and didn't need to, which might have contributed to the feeling of maybe the match was a little bit long, but it was, in this particular situation, I truly believe then and now that that story was the match. The story was the attraction, and not necessarily the matches themselves.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.